What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at all of the alternate art cards from BT10. The official Twitter's been doing what the official Twitter tends to do, and that is revealing one or two a day over the past couple of weeks. But the wonderful, wonderful news is we do now have confirmation of all of them, and that is wonderful. Any translations I'm using do of course come from the lovely folks over at Ensan Gaming and the lovely folks over at digimoncard.dev. Now, where I generally go for translations. They're good folks. So we might as well start off with red, and we might as well start off with one of my favourite ones. It's Jasmon, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, right? Over in BT9, in a lot of sets, I'm not that keen on many of the alternate arts. I can live without them. There are a couple here that I really, really want. This is absolutely one of them. Remember, this is one that can Digivolve for free from any level 4, free as in 1, 2, 3, from any Digimon whose name contains Gankumon. When one of your tamers becomes suspended, you gain 2,000 power. But then if you go up to 12,000 power or more, you get security attack plus 1. 12,000 power plus security attack plus 1 on a level 5 is obviously kind of a little bit nuts. And then we've also got that on all turns, this Digimon gains all effects of the cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards with Gankumon in their name. As both a static and inheritable skill, you can make a weird, varied Gankumon deck, and I am into it. There is another red level 5 we have here, but it's actually a dual type red and black. It is Shoutmon X5. Now, this is, like I say, a dual colour, and you've got security attack plus 1, and blocker, and material save free, and you've got Digicross 2, but you can use Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Duralmon, Starmons, and Sparrowmon, meaning you can make this a free-to-play level 5. That could work out quite nicely. And then the last red we've got is a proper level 6, shouldn't really surprise anyone. It's Jasmon X Antibody. Digivolves the zero cost from Jasmon, has piercing, and when Digivolving you can play a Digimon card with Systemon in its name from your hand or trash without paying. Then if Jasmon is in your Digivolution cards, or you've got a Systemon in play, all of your Digimon get an extra 2,000 power and can attack unsuspended Digimon. We've talked about it before in previous videos. Basically, Jasmon is going to, well, it's going to start ruling the game, potentially even more than it has been, which is a slightly terrifying thought. Now, I told you there were a couple I was particularly keen on in this set. Another one I absolutely adore here is Fetismon, or Tefismon, one or the other. Point is, look at the beautiful alternate art. I love it. Like I say, this and Jasmon, and there's a couple others. I think the alternate arts really are spectacular in this set, more than in others. When Digivolving, if you've got 6 or fewer cards in your deck, you draw 2. And when attacking, if you've got 8 or more cards, you can trash 2 cards in your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. So of course, if you've got exactly 6 cards in hand, you draw 2. Then you've got 8 or more, trash 2 to unsuspend. Yes, that sounds good to me. We've then got ourselves another blue, which is, of course, your Metal Greymon. We actually had a quick look at this one before, because this was revealed when we looked at Metal Greymon. It's got Material Save 2, and when you play, you gain Rush for the turn, but if you Digicrossed 3 of your opponent's Digimon with a number of Digivolution cards less than or equal to this Digimon, can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is kind of nuts. Oh yeah, and also Digicross 2 from either Greymon or Male Birdramon. I feel like Digicross, if we can get it working, is going to be absolutely great. Moving over into yellow, we do have a couple level 6s we can talk about, including the one which I think is going to end up being, well, in fact, both of these are going to end up being extremely popular. We've got Venusmon. Now, when you Digivolve, all of your opponent's Digimon get security attack -1 for the next turn. Really useful to buy yourself some time. And on your opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon with security attack cannot attack this Digimon, and any when Digivolving and when attacking effects don't activate. Basically, it hates on security attack, and that's kind of funny. But then we've also got Sakuyamon Maid Mode, and these 2 yellow ones should be extremely popular. And when you Digivolve, you can use an option card with plugin in its name, or a yellow option card of a cost of 5 or less, ignoring colour restrictions and without paying. Then after using the option card instead of trashing it, place it on top of your security face down, so it becomes a pseudo recovery +1 as well, which is nuts. Use an option card for free while recovering. And then when you are attacking, this Digimon can Digivolve into a Sakuyamon in your hand for a cost of 1, ignoring any Digivolution requirements. Yeah, this one also looks really good. Moving on into green, we've actually got a level 3 here. It is Angoramon, one of those new ones from Ghost Game, which Bandai are really trying to push, it seems. When you play a green tamer, draw a card, and as an inheritable skill, when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, draw a card, both obviously limited to once per turn. But that's some really nice draw power on a level 3. We do also have a nice big level 6 coming in here as well. Why would we not? It is a fairly predictable Bloom Lordmon, although this is another card that I am rather fond of. When Digivolving, you can suspend one of your Digimon, then for each of your suspended Digimon that contain plant, vegetation or fairy, gain a memory, and if you gain 2 or more, you get Piercing. Nice. And then on your turn, for every 2 of your suspended Digimon, you get an extra 2,000 power and security attack +1. We've seen a bunch of skills that can suspend your own Digimon. If you can take good enough advantage of them, you're going to be hyper powerful and have many security attacks in one. That sounds pretty gosh darn good. There is one other green we should have a quick look at before we move on here. It is Lamortmon, something like that. And when you Digivolve, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And at the end of your attack once per turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, unsuspend it. But when attacking, if you don't have a tamer in play, you lose 2 memory. So it's one of those where it's really good, but you'd better have a tamer in play or you are going to pay for it. Now moving into black, we got another level 3, it is Sparrowmon. I'd never heard of Sparrowmon before this set. I love Sparrowmon, and also, if you play Pokemon, this really looks like a particular pair of Pokemon. It looks like the Forgotten Triplet. It can Digivolve for free from any level 2 with a Cross Heart trait. On all turns, while you have a tamer with Cross Heart or Twilight in its traits, you get an extra 3,000 power, and on deletion, you get Save. But it's another one of these that really helps with Shoutmon, while as an inheritable skill, while this Digimon has Shoutmon or Mervamon in its name, you gain Reboot. Yeah, Shoutmon's got a lot of new tricks in this set. It's one we really need to be looking out for. We then have a pure level 6. It is Gankumon X Antibody. Now this is clearly made, to go along with Jasmon. You can Digivolve as a 1 cost from Gankumon. You've got Blocker. And when Digivolving, you can play a Digimon card with Systemon in its name from your hand or trash. Then if Gankumon is in your Digivolution cards, or you have a Digimon with Systemon in its name in play, all your Digimon get an extra 2,000 power, can't be returned to your hand or deck by effects, and the power cannot be reduced until the end of your opponent's turn. I.e., it just gives you a huge amount of protection, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, Gankumon looks pretty gosh darn good. And then we got a dual colour. It's not a pure level 6, I apologise. It's your Dark Knightmon X Antibody, and this is another one that we blatantly could have seen coming, because this was always going to have an alternate art. Come on, it's Dark Knightmon X Antibody. Digivolves as a 4 cost from Dark Knightmon. When Digivolving, you return a black or purple Digimon other than Dark Knightmon X Antibody from your trash to your hand. And then if you've got Dark Knightmon or X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, remember X Antibody here refers to the option card, delete a tamer and unsuspend this Digimon. And then on deletion, you can play a Dark Knightmon from your trash for free. Which again is another one of those skills that just looks a little bit awesome. And then in terms of pure purple, dual colour or any of that malarkey, we do have one here, and it's another one that you probably could have seen coming. It's Minervamon. This is the one with Retaliation. And on your opponent's turn, when they play a Digimon, you can play a purple level 4 or lower from your trash without paying, although play costs don't activate. And it's worth pointing out this isn't limited to once per turn, so every time your opponent plays a Digimon, you can play a purple level 4 or lower from your trash. So you're basically matching them Digimon for Digimon. That's a bit silly. And then on deletion, if your opponent has 2 or fewer Digimon in play, you can play a purple level 5 or lower, or a Mervamon from your trash without paying. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this looks a little bit silly good. Yeah, that one's worth being excited about. In terms of white, obviously we've got System on Seal, although I still need to remind you, System on Seal, in Japanese, it's weird. Because Japan always got System on Wa, and we replaced it with System on Seal. They're just now getting System on Seal generally. But when you play, you can, if it's your turn, you can Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon with Royal Knights in it straight from your hand by paying its Digivolution cost. Essentially lets you Digivolve even though it should be your opponent's turn. And then on your turn, once per turn, when your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Huckmon in its name or Royal Knights in its traits, go and gain yourself a memory. Seems fun, ladies and gentlemen. Seems kind of fun. And then, of course, we've got the level 7 that we also kind of knew had to be coming here. It's your Omnimon X Antibody. This one was also slightly predictable, if I'm honest with you. But that doesn't mean it's not a good card. So here you can evolve from an Omegamon for a free cost, or an Omnimon as we call it. When you Digivolve from Digimon with an X Antibody in its evolution sources, your cost is reduced by 2. When you're Digivolving, you get to return all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of their deck. If they've got 2 level 7s, both of them. No level 7s, but 2 level 6s, both of them, etc. And when you're evolving or attacking once per turn, you can return a card named X Antibody or a level 6 from your Digivolution sources to the bottom of your deck. Look at your opponent's security, trash a card, and then put them back. And you do shuffle them, so you don't know the order, but not only do you get to trash the best security card, or the one you're most worried about, but you also get to have perfect knowledge of all the cards in there. So you can know the highest level, the highest power Digimon in there, so you can then start attacking the security, guaranteeing you're going to survive. That's crazy. I said in my video this might be broken. I stand by that, incidentally. And then, of course, surprising nobody, we finish off with the 2 secret rares. So you've got your level 4 Shoutmon King version. It's also treated as Shoutmon. When you play, you can return a card with Digicross requirements from your trash to your hand. But then, when you Digicross this turn, you can treat this Digimon as meeting any requirement for Digicross, which is nuts. And then it's got Material Save 1. Digicross 2 with any Digimon with Digicross in its traits, making this a very easy free cost. And then an inheritable skill that gives any Digimon with Shoutmon in its name an extra 2,000 power. Clearly it's another one of these fitting into those Shoutmon decks, but it's also really super hyper useful for all of your Digicrossing, and that is really rather lovely. And then of course the other secret rare is your Jasmon GX, and this is another Jasmon that just looks awesome. Digivolve as a 5 cost from a level 6 with Royal Knight in its traits. When Digivolving, you can place a 13 play cost or less Digimon with Royal Knight in its traits from your hand or trash under this Digimon as a Digivolution card to activate a when Digivolving effect, which is nuts. Oh, and then Blitz. And on all turns, while this card has a card with Royal Knights in its traits in its Digivolution cards, you get Piercing and Blocker and Security Attack +1 for each Royal Knight under it. This can get very silly very quickly. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all of your alternate arts, and I really like this set more than others. For me, I am actually actively going after some of these. The Fetismon is one I must have, the Canaweismon, possibly the Sparrowmon. These are very, very cool, but now it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about these. I want to know how excited you are. I want to know anything you want to tell me, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.